see. Oh, there we are. We're there. I'm gonna move it over just a teeny bit because I'm more in than you are. Isn't this funny? Hello, Facebook. Hello. Welcome.
Welcome.
Welcome. Every once in a while, you have to do like weird voices. You know.
I've got a litany.
Ooh. We'll have to bring those out.
Maybe bring
podcast.
Those out.
Yes.
Maybe that final phase. Don't start too early.
Yeah, we got to warm up to the litany of Joe voices.
Yeah, our voices, yeah.
Do you think you could do like, I always thought I'd be great at doing cartoon voices. Because I could do all weird kind of voices. When I would like read books to my daughter when she was a kid, she'd just get cracking up because I like could do all the voices.
Oh, yeah, I do. I make up voices in certain characters, and when I would read the children's books to the kids, if I didn't understand the character, I would make their personality for them. And yeah, I mean, so I have that. And then we would read the boys. I have 3 children. The boys were particularly interested and still are in Sherlock Holmes. And so I really work on those characters.
Do you do an accent?
Oh, yeah, I do an accent.
Oh, even cooler.
I may have to break it out.
I totally want you to.
Okay.
All right, so we are ready when you are, sir.
All right, here we go.
Oh, wait, no, I'm not ready. I have to have glasses on so I can see what the heck I'm doing. Okay, now I'm ready. I'm ready.
Here we go.
Hi, this is Mish Hancock, and you are listening to Mishmash, a place where I get to talk to the weird, wacky, and wonderful people of this world, people I adore and want to know more about. Today, my guest is Joe Steensma. He steadfastly believes that his understanding of the biological sciences, birds in particular, has made him a better entrepreneur and businessman. Dr. Steensma is a professor of social entrepreneurship and public health in the George W. Brown School of Social Work at Washington University in St. Louis. Thank you for being here, Joe.
Well, thank you for having me.
So before we started, we were talking about voices. We don't have to get into it right away, but I'm gonna let people know ahead of time that if different voices start coming out of you, that might be why.
That's right. They should know that. It's maybe one of my emergent personalities. Yeah.
Or a whole new career.
That's awesome.
So tell me about what you do.
Well, there's a lot of things I do. My background predominantly has always been in public health, and particularly environmental health. So I'm very interested in, and always have been, with the intersection of health, wealth, and the environment. And so my businesses have primarily been around in how we protect the environment at the same time maximizing well-being and increasing productivity for the economy. And a lot of times people think those things are incongruent, and a lot of times people they look at me with this quizzical look like, well, but I think that my work has been predominantly focused on making better businesses, protecting the environment so that we can live healthier lives.
Well, and so you are a former TEDx Gateway Arch speaker.
Yeah.
And I watched your talk again, and I loved how you were talking about how, and it's true, like how do we create systems so that we don't have all this waste. And I really do have like a guilt thing about taking the trash out. Because I always think, how do 3 people and 2 dogs make so much trash? And we recycle, like we got the recycling thing going, yet there's still stuff that you got to throw away.
Yeah, well, and I think that's right there. If we just take that last sentence, there's still stuff that you gotta throw away. And I think, and it's not you, it's not me, it's not individually our fault, but we really haven't built the systems that are necessary to reuse and reclaim the energy and the materials that are in those things that we gotta throw away.
Right.
And so it's really about building better systems in society that better use and have like safety valves for for those materials. So like I think in that you brought up that TEDx talk called Birds, Biology, and Business. Look it up on YouTube. But that in that talk, I think I tried to elucidate that there are biological systems that we can learn from because biological systems, they just don't waste. Everything is reused and repurposed, and the energy, which is so valuable in a biological system, that almost, and I'm going to say the word "no" here, but KNOW, that the organisms know, they really don't cognitively or consciously
Right.
know, but it's like they all know how important that energy is, and biology doesn't waste that. And so somehow or another, in our separating ourselves from the natural environment, we've gotten away from that understanding, and then we've built systems built on convenience and not really reclaiming the energy and the material in the system.
It's really true. And I mean, and there, there's talk about the throwaway society, that we don't, you don't, why do we buy razors that you're just going to throw away when you could just, you know what I mean? That kind of thing. Like, how do we figure out ways? I mean, do you have some hints for us? Do you have some ideas for the everyday person on maybe instead of buying this, go buy that?
Well, so I probably could. I try to steer clear of specifics a little bit because it, it really is interesting that no matter where no matter where you go, you almost intimated to it earlier, like sometimes you just have to. The reality is that that there are materials and processes that if we could scale them and make them big enough to be widespread or in widespread uptake, they would be really beneficial. But as they are right now, they're actually a net negative on the environment. So, I mean, I could call on recycled paper or recycled products and recycled plastics, for example. And the reality is, until that gets to a certain scale, until you get to a certain size,
Right.
it actually is a net negative. But getting up to that point, it's so I steer clear from that. I'm more interested in building, starting from fresh and saying, how do we build a system set kind of soup to nuts from the top of the mountain down,
Got ya.
and focus on building a better way of doing things.
Well, that makes sense.
Mm.
That's a way better answer than, I was going to be like writing down my tips.
Yeah. Well, and there are people that do that, but my focus is really looking at systems and how can we emulate near perfect systems and then try to scale those in society.
And so I know I was talking to a company here in town, Cardoc, and they are an automotive repair facility. But he was telling me all about how, all the oil that comes out of the cars, it's recycled here. I mean, they recycle like everything.
Oh, it's come
And
a long way.
I was so impressed by that.
Mm-hmm.
So if other industries might take note, like, here we've got extra this, but it probably has, it's what somebody else, your trash could be somebody else's treasure, right? So
Absolutely.
Who treasures that waste that they can use that waste for something else? That's
Absolutely.
probably in the most simplest form, right?
No, but it's what we call Occam's razor, is this notion that the simplest idea is the best. And right, what you just said is exactly what we need to be thinking of, is trying to find markets for some of these things that we would say are superfluous or waste,
Right.
And then really working to develop the markets and develop within the context of our society and those systems. How do we get those develop those markets and make them efficient? And so I'll give you an example. I just got back literally like 2 a.m.
I know
the
you
other day.
did. Thank you for being here, as you flew in so late last night or early in the morning.
from Haiti, which is a great. It's where I do some work, and they were making a type of bread there. Maybe you've heard of it, cassava.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's
Yeah.
it's made from a root, but the bread is really a fascinating process. But the bread itself, sometimes if it's a really high end one, they'll put coconut on it. And it's really good. But they end up with a lot of coconut shells, and they'll burn those coconut shells for charcoal. And charcoal is a very common heating source in Haiti. It's extremely common. But in this particular case, coconut shell charcoal is particularly valuable because of it has some chemical properties, and it's really pure carbon. And they were burning it for heating, whereas it might have a better value and greater market in another capacity.
Okay.
And so how do we maximize the value too and help get those goods to the market? So I said, well, let's not use it in this capacity. Let's find a better market for it. And so these are the things that I think about and love to do.
Oh, cool. All right. Well, we are going to take a quick break.
Okay.
And we will be right back with Joe Steensma.
Thank you.
Was that an experiment?
Kinda. Actually, it's weird because these block out the sound well, but I can still hear a little bit of you guys, so I like to kind of listen every once in a while.
Oh, so I'm like,
quietly.
Sam went to a different room. I can still see him. Hi. What are you doing, Sam?
It's hide and go seek, but I'm really bad at it because I'm behind windows.
I totally... Okay, you know what is so funny about hide and go seek, though? The updated version, I kid you not, of hide and go seek. My daughter, when she was younger, and her friends and her would play hide and go seek, they would text each other. They would text each other like hints of where they were.
Funny.
And I thought it was so hilarious. I'm like, so that's where it's gone.
Uh-huh.
You know, there was a time where you couldn't text your friends to give them hints of where you were.
It's amazing.
That's when you would just do the like, woo.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like you just
My
do like
kids
a little
do that
sound.
all that time. If they get nervous, if they hide too well, they get nervous, I find. And so they'll start making noises, can anybody find me? And so
My daughter could get, and I mean, still, she's 15 now. I swear she could get into the tiniest, craziest little spaces that you would have no idea she'd be there.
Yeah.
She's very good at hide and seek, Sam. If you would want some pointers, I could, set up a conference call.
And get outside the windows.
You know, the cassava, but my husband sells solar in the Caribbean, puts together these large projects in the Caribbean, and he was there for 2.5 weeks, 17 different islands. And he actually has a video showing a woman making that cassava bread. He was telling me all about it. It's really, and then Dr. James Carrington was one of our TEDx speakers, he talked about, in his TED Talk, he talks about the whole cassava thing.
Yeah, it's interesting. It's a fascinating process too. It's a fascinating bread product, or I don't even know if it's bread, but when you look at it being made, you're like, is this really bread?
Is that really? Yeah, gotcha.
But I have a colleague who is concerned about its overutilization for child nutrition because it lacks a lot of micronutrients, and so it's overdependence because it's so readily available.
Right. Super easy to grow and all. It's like, it's a root, right? So it's like potatoes. You can just grow them like crazy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really quite an amazing plant, but it's just like everything, is that, over reliance on one thing, and so
causes imbalance.
Yeah.
Everything in moderation is still
That's right.
good advice.
It's really good advice.
It's really good advice.
Plato had it right.
Except coffee. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah.
All right, are we ready?
Yes, ma'am. Here we go.
And we are back with Joe Steensma, and we were talking about cassava and how interesting of a plant that is, and how amazing. So, but so the bread, does it taste like bread?
Yeah, it's more like it's a type of cracker. I don't even know. I mean, it has bread-like textures, but it's certainly not doughy.
I gotcha.
It's a different type
kind of crispier.
Crispy, yeah.
I got ya.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. I mean, when you watch it being made, you're like, this ends up being bread, and sure enough, it functions that...
Something magical happens with that coconut charcoal, maybe.
Yeah, maybe so.
So tell me about birds. I got to tell you, as your Facebook friend, it is so much fun to see the pictures of birds. I love it. I
Thanks.
love it. So tell me about birds.
Well, I could go back to the beginning, back when they used to be called dinosaurs, but
Why not?
yeah.
Let's extend the podcast to go throughout all of history.
Yeah, we can do it. Birds are just amazing. They've adapted. I mean, from the penguin to the ostrich to parrots to birds of prey. To hummingbirds. I mean, they're just amazing. I started watching birds when I was very young, and that fascination continued to grow with every new discovery. And they're so variant that you can say, well, why does that one have a long beak? And why does that one have a long leg?
Right.
Or why does that one have, a very variant sort of vocalization, and you can keep finding answers, and it doesn't stop, and it's just miles and miles and miles deep. And so for me, it started out as I want to see birds, and then it was like, well, I want to know where they live. I want to know why they live there. I want to know what do they eat, why do they behave the way they do. And it's just been a lifelong journey. And along the way, I was just talking to a colleague about this. She happened to comment that we were in the field in Haiti again, and she happened to comment. She said, "You don't miss a thing." She said, "You see every detail." And I steadfastly believe that is because of my life in birds. Because when you're out and you're studying birds and you're studying biology, you have to be extraordinarily observant. Every detail matters. And so I think that when I was, I can't remember if I was 6 or so, this kind of confluence of events. One, I started to find birds. And 2, I started to find Pink Floyd. And I found...
Did you play them together? No kidding.
Yeah, no kidding. I did. I bought my first album with my own money, which was Pink Floyd The Wall. And there was a line in one of the songs, which was... says, I've got a strong urge to fly, but I've got amazing powers of observation. And I said, I was smart enough to know that I wasn't ever going to fly or have x-ray vision, try as I might.
Dang it.
But I knew that maybe I could have amazing powers of observation. And so it was like this discovery of birds and this belief that I could be that observant that just kind of took me down that path. And ever since then, I've been studying and watching birds, and it's been a passion of mine, and it's helped me understand my place in the world and helped me understand systems, good systems, responsible systems. So yeah, it's kind of who I am. I mean, in Haiti they call me Oiseau Man, which is Creole for bird. Birdman. They call me Birdman. I go to the Bahamas where they all call me Birdman Joe. It's most people, who know me outside of my university life know me as the Birdman.
The Birdman.
Mm-hmm.
I love it. Well, I saw yesterday. Are you ready? I'm gonna. I hope I say this right. I saw a Dryococcus pileatus.
Dryocopus pileatus.
Dryocopus pileatus. Just like I said.
Yeah, you saw one. Was he?
Okay. I live at this lake.
Okay.
Okay, it's called Lake Wawanoka, which means happy land.
Oh.
And this living at this lake is, I will say, that's when I first started to have an appreciation for birds. Now, I don't know what the heck they're called. I'm like, there's the one with the red head. Right. That's the kind of things I say, right? But that thing is big.
It's a big.
And it was, so right where I sit, at my computer, and I'm like queen of the lake because I'm overlooking the lake while I'm working. And he came right up at the tree, and it was amazing. And I read an article recently that I'll have to find and share it with you. But there is this kid that is studying woodpeckers because as a way to create helmets, football helmets, to help people with concussions, to avoid concussion.
Yeah. So for our listeners who aren't familiar with the scientific names, Dryocopus pileatus is the pileated woodpecker, which is the largest woodpecker in North America.
He's big.
It's a big guy. And yeah, woodpeckers have, so we have three layers to protect our brain, 3 layers of tissue called the maters, M-A-T-E-R. And I think woodpeckers have 4. And I think that's form fits function, and that's why when I study birds, I started to see, wow, that has a purpose.
Right.
Everything has a purpose. So yeah, be wise to study them for concussion purposes.
But why do they do that? Why do they do that on trees? Are
Well,
they like telling their friends, "Hey," is that a communication or what is it?
They do use it for communication, but they also but they're looking for food. They eat bugs. They have a very weird and long tongue, and so they poke holes. They can hear the bugs munching on the inside of the bark in the cambium.
Oh.
And so they pick, and they open that up, and then they can. And of course, the size of the beak, size does matter. So the size of the beak matters as to how far you can penetrate within the bark, and what types of trees and where within the trees that you will forage for food.
That is so cool. I wish I had gotten a picture of him, but it was like, I think I moved, and he's like, "Oh, I'm out of here."
Yeah,
Somebody moved behind me,
They are amazing. I was just thinking about, I was in Arkansas, so it has a cousin, which is a famous bird called the ivory-billed woodpecker, which was thought to be extinct, probably is extinct. Don't tell the people in Arkansas.
Okay.
But the ivory-billed woodpecker was thought to be extinct probably from the 60s. And then in 2004, I think somebody recorded it, or they think they recorded it. And so there's this sort of debate raging. But my son and I, because it's like a quixotic journey or something like that, that every birder has to take, we went down to central Arkansas into the woods and for a couple days tried to find the ghost bird, we call it, which is the ivory-billed woodpecker. So that's also part of it. It's people talk about Pokemon Go. Have you heard of this thing, Pokemon Go?
Oh, have I? Yes.
I don't know the first thing about Pokemon Go, but I had some friends. I said, tell me what's this craze? I was in Australia, and all these kids,
they're all looking
they're all
phone.
they're all walking all over the place. And I was running down on Wollongong Beach there, and I asked these kids. I said, if you don't mind me asking. I thought it was cool. I thought it was cool. I was like, wow, these Australians really get out. And then I said, what's going on? Everybody's out here, but they're all with their cell phones. And they said, oh, it's Pokemon Go. And I said, well, what do you try to do? Well, you try to capture these things. You try to see these things. I guess they're called Pokemon.
Yep.
In real places. And this kid was describing it to me, and I was like, so it's kind of like bird watching. Except for that I'm really seeing the real thing. I'm like really seeing a creature.
Yeah.
You're seeing a fake creature and trying to capture it, and I take my camera out and there's a real creature right next to the fake creature that you're catching, and I'll take a picture of the real one. And
oh my gosh.
so,
you should write an article, Why Pokemon Go is Like Birding, and you'll get a bunch of kids into it.
Oh yeah, well it is a lot like that. My kids love bird watching. They don't play Pokemon Go.
Because they're that part of them has already been satisfied.
It's in their DNA.
We're going to be right back with Joe Steensma. That is so funny. That Pokemon Go thing was crazy.
It's nuts. What's crazy to me is that, and this is disappointing in some respects. It's like that exists in the world. You don't need some artificial creature to go find. Those creatures exist right here. I mean, they're not.
They don't breathe fire.
They don't breathe fire.
Right.
But some of them kind of do. I mean, maybe not the birds, but some insects have the ability to mix. They have these gas. It was down in. I don't know if it was Colombia or where it was, but there's a bug that mixes these two chambers together of chemicals that it produces in its own body. It mixes them and it explodes. It's a defense mechanism, but it literally is
like a caterpillar.
This is a regular insect.
Oh, okay.
But they do a crazy. I mean, they're all over the place.
Well, I'm so amazed. I mean, I love learning about different animals and what they do. And one of my favorite animals is called the pom-pom. I think it's the pom-pom crab. And he is a crab, and he takes sea anemones, look like little pom-poms, and that's his defense.
Oh
Get
my
away from me!
gosh,
I
that's
thought
awesome.
that was hilarious. And I
Yeah.
think, and I forget, it was something at the Omnimax. It was like the Living Sea or something like that. I just remember it was that Sting played the music for it, and it was one of the most beautiful movies I'd ever seen. It had such interesting animals in it that it had shared. But it was the pom pom crab. I thought, now that is that crab's got it going on. I was like, you're gonna bother me? I'm gonna grab you. See, get away from
Back
me.
away. It's kind of like, in those old barroom fights where they break a bottle or something.
I got my sea anemone.
Come here,
It stings.
Uh-huh.
It'll leave a mark.
Awesome. I'm always amazed by nature. Whenever I lose faith in the world, I just go outside and I find some cute little bug that makes sense.
Yeah, I will take pictures. If I see a weird bug, I'm always taking pictures. Going, does anybody know what this is?
Yeah.
And
most people say, "Oh, it's a bug." Yeah. No, and they write, "Nope." Nope, like get it away from me.
Get it away from me. No, I don't have any kind. I'm not a big fan of mosquitoes because mosquitoes are a big fan of me. I'm like dessert.
Oh yeah.
And I don't like wasps, and I think it's because they got those dangly legs freak me out. Like they're just like, ooh, I don't know, something about the dangly legs freak me out.
You probably just don't like that wasp. I think there's like several thousand species of wasps.
That's true.
And most of them are completely benign
The
and
one
don't
that I
have dangly
know
legs.
for sure is a wasp. Those I not no.
I think it's cool. I mean, I don't love all creatures. Ticks.
No, ticks are gross.
Yeah, ticks.
They're...
I have a condition. I call it PTS, which is Phantom Tick Syndrome.
Oh.
When I go out in the woods and I find one tick, for the next like 5 days, I'm like, oh my god, there's a tick. All right, where's my tick? Where's the tick?
There's another one. I can tell.
It's not there, but
they're so. It's because they're like invasive. You're like, get off me! You don't get to take my blood.
Yeah, and they go to parts that like armpits and stuff. I don't like that.
They're just
gross.
I know. Like if there's reincarnation, those were bad people.
I think so too. I think you're exactly right.
God went, I'll show you. You're going back as a tick. Are you ready for us?
Yeah.
Okay. Ready for questions?
Okay.
This will be fun.
Is this rapid fire?
No.
Oh, okay.
Right. It's, totally laid back.
All right.
And we are back with Joe Steensma, and it is question time. Okay, ready? Here's my first question. This one kind of cracked me up when I was writing it. If you were a Disney princess...
Oh my gosh.
So you know how Disney princesses always like the birds show up and sit on their shoulder and they're like friends and they sing and everything. All right, which bird do you want to? Exactly. Which bird do you want to show up on your shoulder? Which bird would be your friend and like sing around and dance around?
Oh, well, that's a different question. I thought we were going to different. Okay, so for me, the bird that I think I would want on my shoulder is a black-capped chickadee. Which isn't sexy. It's not.
Don't tell the black-capped chickadee that. They probably think they are hot.
No, I think it's cute. I mean, which would you rather be? A sexy bird or a cute bird?
Cute.
And I think
cute.
Me too. And I think the black-capped chickadee is a cute bird. And it's just a loyal bird to me. And we're not supposed to have favorites, children.
Right.
Or birds.
True.
But I kind of do like the black-capped chickadee. Very common, and we see them all the time. But it's my favorite. So
do we? We see them here in Missouri all the time.
Actually, we see we're on the bifurcation. So there's the Carolina chickadee, which is to the south of St. Louis.
Okay.
And the black-capped chickadee is to the north of St. Louis. And so I'm from the north, so I prefer the.
See, I'm all south now, so I probably wouldn't see one. I have to go north again and go check it out.
We'll get you one.
Okay, so then this is an obsession of mine. I don't mean for it to be an obsession, but it just happens. But all of my life, I always seem to notice, like, that billboard always has birds on it. That stoplight always has bird. Like, what is it about just certain do you have any idea? And they space themselves out so nice. Like, they're all like sitting there, like, go move over another inch. You're messing up our thing here, you know?
Our feng shui.
Feng shui. Yeah, exactly. Yeah. So, I mean, I'm fascinated by the fact that birds show up. Like, it's like, we love this billboard. This is our favorite.
There's no question. I mean, you're a creature of habit. I'm a creature of habit. You know, dogs are creatures of habit. Birds are creatures of habit. And it's one, it's their home. Two, it's their part of the routine. So I have a book, number 3 on Amazon's hot sellers list.
Ooh.
Subcategory Bahamas, subcategory birds. There are only 4 books in the category.
Or what is it called so it's easier for us to search for?
It's called A Guide to the Birds of North Andros Island. But anyway, in that book I give specific GPS coordinates to trees. And I say, if you go to this tree, you will find this bird, this bird, this bird, this bird. And
cool.
And so what you're describing is really just the birds have their haunts, they have their places, and it's generational. So
if I ever put a billboard up, I really want to make sure it's one that the birds like.
Yeah, don't put a giant eagle on it or something.
No, that would be bad.
Yeah,
like, whoa, stay away from that one. I don't know. At our lake one time, we have geese, you know, and apparently they're a problem. And so in a newsletter we got one time, it said, we have a solution to the geese problem. But that was all they said. And I'm like, well, what are they going to do?
The final solution.
And then all of a sudden at the beach showed up these, they were like,
mute swans?
They were wolves. They were like, they looked like wolves, not real ones. I mean, they were like wolf cutouts or whatever. So the first day, no geese. But the second day, the geese were like hanging out. Yeah. They were like, yeah, we get it, guys. This isn't for real. And so those disappeared pretty soon after that. So bird brains, they are not. They got it.
They know.
Okay. Now, we live here in Missouri. Mm-hmm. Do we have a rare bird?
Oh, jeez, we got all sorts of.
Tell me some of our rare birds.
Oh, I mean, so the Ozarks are just loaded with really, really great birds. Actually, up here, so right now we have Tundra Swans at, when I say right now, it is currently January in Missouri. And so if you go to the confluence of the Missouri and Mississippi rivers, right now we have a lot of swans that are quite rare.
Okay.
Tundra swans.
Now, these white swans, like I think of in my head? Okay.
Yep, they're big. They are big. They're giant birds.
We have 3 that visit the lake every year. There's a certain time of year where the 3 of them show up.
Yep, and so that's a rare bird. Even right there, last year we had at that same spot we found a rock wren, which is a western species, comes from like Arizona, Texas. It's rare. So we're right now, I think this is the way that I describe it. This is the Silk Road. The Mississippi River is the Silk Road for birds.
Really?
Yeah, it's the highway. When you're lost in the world, you find it. And so migratory birds are birds that are transient. They go from one place to another. It's like, I'm lost, but I'll just go up and down the Mississippi. And so we get strange shit here. Can I say that? It's a podcast.
It's a podcast. You can say whatever you want.
Oh, good.
Seriously, I did not know that.
So that's part of the reason I moved to Missouri. I mean, it's just an amazing place for birds. I mean, so you go to the Audubon Center at the Riverlands, and you just never know what you're going to see. It's like a box of like Forrest Gump, you know, life's a box of chocolates. You just never know what you're going to get. It's because there's all sorts of things that come up and down from Canada and come up the Mississippi and stuff. I'm constantly seeing crazy things out there. So you've heard of a pelican, Pelecanus occidentalis. That's the brown pelican.
Scientists out there.
A brown pelican. We have we also have the American white pelican, which you can see thousands and thousands of on the Mississippi River. But the brown pelican's quite rare. And this summer, me and my 10-year-old boy, were out and saw a brown pelican. It's just the strangest thing. I mean, that's a kind of a coastal bird, and so yeah. I mean, we have all sorts. There are about 400 and so birds that you can see, species you can see in Missouri, but there's all sorts of crazy things if you get the
so
chance.
Cool. I had no idea that we lived in this bird-rich area. I had no idea.
It's unbelievable. I mean, it is literally unbelievable. In May, in St. Louis, when the migration comes through,
keep your eyes open.
Oh, it's just unbelievable. There's no better place in the world to be.
Do you love hummingbirds? Because that's one of my favorite things in the summer is, we put the hummingbird feeders out. And again, in front of my window where I'm working. And they crack. They're fierce little guys. One guy will be like, this is my place to eat. And I will watch him sit in that tree and be like, no, and go fly and get the other ones out of there.
They're fierce. They're fierce little dudes, yeah. I love hummingbirds. They're a great example, again, of so many things we can learn from hummingbirds in terms of understanding niche, understanding a place in a system. Of course, their biological adaptations the list is incredibly long and amazing. I mean, so I love hummingbirds, not just for their beauty, because they're almost universally they're beautiful, but they're just a great way for me to understand, again, my place, whether as a person or in business. How do I adapt, understand competition? Because, again, they're highly competitive.
Right.
But it's because, you know what, when you're tiny, you got to fight for your place in this world. And so they have they have many lessons they could teach us if we would let them.
I love it. Thank you, Joe.
Yeah.
And your TEDx talk, so if we go to TEDx Gateway Arch, look for Joe Steensma, Steensma.
You got it.
So that you can look, because it's a great talk.
Oh,
it's a great talk. I mean, I remember the first time that you showed up and said, here, I'm going to tell you what my TED Talk would be about. We were like, yes, that's awesome. So thank you so much for coming here today.
Thanks a lot. I enjoyed it.
And
first podcast.
I know. See, so first podcast, first time live on Facebook, because we're recording this on Facebook. Well, we're live on Facebook right now, so I'll get that up there somewhere so we can have it forever.
In perpetuity. Awesome.
Awesome. Thank you, Joe. You all have been listening to Mishmash. Find us on iTunes and subscribe. Thank you. Yay. Thank you,
fun.
sir. That was awesome.
That went fast, like you said.
It always does. I'm going to turn. Bye, everybody. I'm going to turn.